Hello everybody, welcome again to the kitchen. Thanks for coming back, and I've got a delicious recipe prepared for you guys tonight. I'm looking forward to having this. I haven't had it in a while. It is a cabbage soup. A friend of mine, George Jarvis, he's a member of the Zagray Farm, he made this a while ago and I tried it and it was so good. It was really good for fall and winter weather, which is the season we're coming into now. I'll just give you a look at the recipe here. If you want to pause your video and make note of anything, of any quantities or anything like that. I, of course, just use this as a guideline. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I really don't pay too much attention to the exact quantities of certain things. I just put in however much I want or however much I like. So anyway, we're going to start by chopping up some onions and some celery and throwing it into a large soup pot to simmer. Doesn't really matter the shape of the vegetables that you cut up because it's all going to get blended together anyway, but if you cut them into small pieces it'll cook faster, so that's a consideration. So that was 2 onions. And I've got 3 kind of small stalks of celery here. Now I put the heat on the stove to about medium or so. And I'm going to put some olive oil in here for them to cook with. And then I'll just let it simmer and cook down for a little while until the onions start to turn translucent. And then we'll go on to the next step. Now the onions and celery have cooked down a little bit, so I'm going to start cutting up the cabbage. I usually use 1 giant head of cabbage, but today I've got a medium and a small. So I'm just going to start slicing it up like this, just to get it into thin, small, manageable pieces that will cook easily and quickly. Now that all the cabbage is in there, I'm going to put some chicken broth in. You can also use beef broth, vegetable broth, whatever. It really doesn't matter that much. I just happen to have some chicken broth, so that's what I'm going to use. This is only about 3/4 of a container. I'm definitely going to need more than that. I'll just start off with that. Then I'm going to add a couple other things. Most of these things weren't asked for in the recipe, but I made this once using some leftover cabbage from when my girlfriend made corned beef and cabbage, and it had all the corned beef seasoning in there, and it was the best batch of cabbage soup I ever had made. So I looked up what the seasoning mix for corned beef and cabbage was, and this apparently is what's in there. I don't have all of those things, so I'm just going to add what I already have. Then I'll top this off with some more stock, and I'll cover it, I'll let it simmer. I'll try to stir it around every once in a while. It's going to be a little tough to stir now, but once the cabbage cooks down I'll be able to stir it a lot easier. Also, try not to put too much stock in because you don't want it to be too thin. You can always add more stock later, but you can't take it out. Okay, so it's been simmering for, I don't know, maybe an hour or so, and you can see that the cabbage has settled down quite a bit. Now it's time to use my brand new immersion blender to blend this all up. I've said before in one of my previous videos, this is one of my favorite kitchen gadgets. If you don't have one of these, firstly go out and buy one. They're 10, 20, 30 bucks, they're worth every penny. But if you don't have one of these and you still want to make this, all you have to use is a Cuisinart. You just scoop some of this in the Cuisinart at a time, blend it, pour it into a bowl, scoop some more out, put it in the Cuisinart, etc. But this makes it so much easier. Just make sure that you don't splash this stuff around and get lava hot cabbage soup juice on you. Now I'm going to add some frozen peas to it. Ow! Oh, boy, that was hot. Oh, like I said, this, now that it's all blended up, it spits molten lava at you. Just got me in the finger. Now this is a little bit thick for my taste, so I'm going to add a little bit of extra beef broth or chicken broth or whatever you have lying around. Now the last step is to put some sausage in it, or hot dogs, or whatever. This here is kielbasa. Well, arguably kielbasa. My Polish girlfriend would deny this is kielbasa and say this is just a, I don't know, jumbo hot dog? I'm not sure. But it says kielbasa on the package. So I'm going to slice this up and throw these pieces in there. And of course you get fancy style points for cutting the sausage kind of angled like I am. It's extra classy that way. And in it goes. Now this is pretty much ready to eat as it is. But of course, just like any other soup or stew, the longer you simmer it, the better it tastes. And the longer it stays in the fridge, the better it tastes. So I'm just going to let this simmer for a little while longer. I'm going to let the kielbasa warm up and infuse some of the kielbasa flavor in there. Then I'm going to dig in. I wish you guys could smell this. It smells so good. You never think cabbage would smell so good. This has been simmering for a while. I'm going to spoon myself out a nice big serving. Now you can't forget your bread. Okay, here we go. Pull up a chair. I wish you guys could smell this, but you're just going to have to make it for yourself if you want to see how delicious it smells. This looks great. Just the right consistency. I used about 1.5 containers of stock. I used some chicken stock and some beef stock, and I think that's just the right consistency. And of course you can add some more as time goes on, as it sits in the fridge and maybe thickens up a little bit. Well, that's just right. I left a couple chunks of cabbage in there for a little bit of a chomp every once in a while. Now you got to get, for the first bite, you got to get just the right bite. So there's a piece of sausage, some peas. Oh, this is going to be good. Oh boy, is that good. Yep. Well, I think if you make this cabbage soup, you'll agree with me on how good this is. It's just right for a cold fall night. And of course, don't forget your bread. There's some good eats, and it's easy too. It did take a little bit of time. You just gotta let it simmer. Simmering took the most amount of time, cutting everything up. It was very easy preparation. So again, you guys and girls out there who think you're not too good at cooking, well, try something like this. If you can operate a knife and a stove, you can make something like this. It's just that easy. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope this gives you an idea for tomorrow night's dinner maybe. Thanks for watching. Make sure to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, or hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, be sure to stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching, everybody.